Hi everyone, my name is Harley. Thank you for watching TransByDef. Before we begin, I noticed the background's a little different. I just moved recently, so it's the first time doing this here. They have a built-in desk, which is super great, but the problem is it's facing the kitchen. So, I mean, even though the kitchen's clean, I just don't want the kitchen in the background. You know, the living room maybe, but not the kitchen, so that was kind of a bad architectural problem right there. Anyways, today's topic is unexpected changes or surprises during your transition. So I got a few to talk about. I'll try to be quick. I know this probably would take 10 minutes, but cadence. Here we go. So first thing I get is a lot of people talk about my hair. They saw my MTF transition timeline on my personal page, and they were like, "Hey, I noticed your hair got thicker. What happened? Like, can you explain what goes on?" So this might take a couple minutes, but I'm going to tell you this. I had male hair pattern baldness. I had the M. I also had my crowning showing. And I've dealt with a lot of things in the past. Rogaine does not work. Propecia works, but up to an extent. It just kind of doesn't fall out anymore. And you might get a little bit regrowth, but it doesn't really get it thick. So that was my thing. And I read about hormones. People talk about hormones. Oh no, it doesn't work. My opinion about the whole hair regrowth thing is, after going through this whole shit, it's like, I feel that as long as you still have the vellus hairs, those little baby hairs, the vellus hairs, that you still have a chance of getting that hair to regrow. That's my opinion about it. But here's what happened. I was on hormones. Spironolactone was the drug that I'm pretty sure that did it, because it cut the testosterone down. Even estrogen kind of cut the testosterone down still, but it cut the testosterone down. It cut the DHT levels. It was eliminating that DHT conversion. DHT is really what causes that male pattern baldness. So when that happened, I started getting blonde hair, mainly like that. And people thought I was turning blonde, and it was actually the baby hairs. So that was something that I wasn't expecting, that, because I was always pessimistic about the whole thing, because I was reading that, oh, that's really all. So I was very pessimistic about the whole thing. And then it never really improved from that. It just slightly was there. It wasn't as thick. It was still thin. So I was very upset about that. I was a year and a half on hormones, and I was like, oh my god, this sucks. So then I was reading on the forums on a transgender site, and someone recommended the drug Avodart. And there are some side effects, and there are some serious ones. So if you are seeing those, like cognition issues, you need to stop. That's bad. So there are those issues, but out of all that, that drug is fucking amazing. It's like the perfect drug, because it like really restored hair. It really brought the hair out and made it thicker a little bit, like the hair shafts. I can actually feel it when I was washing my hair. Like, it was amazing. That works. And the best part is, I'm telling you, it's the perfect drug. I mean, but I know I'm kind of excited, but the whole thing is, check this out. Females aren't allowed to touch that because it affects their reproductive system, right? And males who still want to be male, they can't take that because it's so powerful. It's more powerful than Propecia, that they're either going to definitely lose this capability, and they might get boobs, it's like, and then they can't go off of it because they'll go back to losing their hair. And I'm like, it's bad for cisgender females, and it's bad for males who are male, identify and go as male. It's bad for them too, but it's perfect for male to female transgenders, because it's like, well, I don't care if I get bigger boobs, and it's like, I'm gonna go off of it. I don't have to stay on it because I don't have that much testosterone in my system now. It just, I was like, man, this is the perfect drug, but you got to be careful of it. Let me just tell you that you got to be careful. So anyways, that's kind of the story, and it definitely rejuvenated. I'm about to go off of it, but I don't know when, because I still have this area that's filling in still, and I'm trying to get it to a level where I'm like, okay, that's good enough. You know, it's legit hair, and I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for that. So that's that. Another thing that really was unexpected is my personality has changed. I mean, you can even look at it at the early videos of me. I was so stiff. I was so like still kind of myself, but I definitely felt like I came out more. Like I'm not afraid of things anymore. I'm not afraid of what people think, and I'm just myself. And it's like I'm a completely different person. Like if you put what I was back before I transitioned versus now, you would see there was a huge difference. You would almost think that that was just my brother, and because I was such a different person then, you know. And it's like I'm just amazed at that. I grew more. And growing, what I mean is like also like maturity level has definitely improved. I mean, going through two puberties, I mean, come on, there has to be a benefit of doing that. And one thing is maturity level. I mean, not all transgenders get that maturity level because they miss that opportunity, you know, because I do catch that. But like going through it, I recognize when my emotions are affecting my decisions and my arguments. And I realized that I'm like, listen, I gotta take a break, man. I'm like, I'm getting heated up. I'm like, I realize that what you're trying to say, but let me take a second to think about that because I'm really like, my emotions are getting to me. So I'm like, okay, let me think about that. And like I literally just do that. I'm like, I'll call you back in 15 minutes. I can't talk right now because I'm still thinking about it. And they're like, okay, okay, you know. And I try, and it's like sometimes I slip, but I definitely have improved on my maturity level. It's like it's amazing. I know how to argue. I know when people are not at that same level as me, that they don't want to, you know, they don't want to benefit from an argument. They want to just argue and tell you what you are doing and what you are wrong at, and that's the worst thing to do. Um, Anyways, that's one thing. That was unexpected. I didn't think that was going to happen. Another thing is sexuality and sexual orientation has definitely changed me. You know, going from like a male sex drive to a female sex drive. I mean, I didn't expect. Like, I mean, you hear that, you know, you read it, but you don't really know what that really feels like. So that was a different feeling altogether. And not only that, but that shifted my sexual orientation, I believe, unless I was always kind of bi. But you know, I've noticed that I'm starting to like guys a little bit more than I used to, which is only a little bit, not enough to say, okay, I'm gonna go out and be with a guy forever. But you know, I noticed that it's starting to get there, but I still prefer girls. So it's interesting. That was an interesting change, you know. And I do know some people do change like sexual orientations as they transition, like fully change, like go from, you know, that they're not bi. Well, I consider everyone bi, because you're, if you find someone attractive on the opposite gender, you're technically, you know. But anyways, that was an interesting experience. The last thing I'm going to talk about is acceptance. That is something I didn't expect. Reading a lot of stories, a lot of people's things, I really thought I was going to encounter the horrors of that. And to be honest with you, I encountered some of it, especially early on in transitioning. I encountered that. But majority of my family is accepting on that. My job is somewhat accepting, and my friends are accepting. Um, I think I think the reason why a lot of people are more accepting is, check this out. Cadence. The the thing is, it's like I'm kind of like a cool person to be with. Like I don't get offended that easily unless I know you're trying to offend me or you're trying to be rude. That's the only way I get offended. But um, I don't usually. I usually joke about things sometimes, like like I find, like, I don't know, I guess people realize that I'm just another person, and they realize that, and they just, they don't see a difference now. It's like, I think that's why people are more accepting, you know. Um, for some reason, they don't see a difference because I'm so cool about things, and I'm like, one example is we're out having drinks, like everyone's having drinks and shit, and I'm like, oh my god, this is my favorite song, and everyone's like trying to listen to the song now. Everyone's being quiet listening to the song, and it's like, dude looks like a lady, and everyone just, like, as soon as people heard, everyone, like, as soon as that happened, people looked and started laughing, and they were like, that was good, that was good. And I was like, I know, I was just joking. I wanted to break the ice, you know. And to be honest with you, subtle things like that, even though it's joking, you break the ice, you break that barrier of, like, you know, that constriction that, oh, I'm afraid to talk about that, and you know, you break that ice, like, and I mean, there's a line that can be crossed, that going too far at it, and then there's like a little icebreaker, you know. Like, for example, this guy, he's Jewish, and he was at work. We were working with him, and he's Jewish, and he said something so funny, and he goes he goes and says, yeah, I can't pass that opportunity up. It's money, so I can't pass that up. I'm Jewish. You know. And it was like, we all looked at him and we're like, you know. And he's like, yeah. I was like, you made a Jewish joke. And he says, yeah, I know. I'm like, and he's like, I just, you know, I'm like, I give you respect on that because I do the same thing. And he's like, yeah, it's like, it's funny, you know. It's fun to break that barrier because people are afraid to touch it. Um, and believe it or not, after I made that joke with the song, people were asking me questions about it, like, hey, so what do you see yourself as? I'm like, well, I don't see myself as a dude that looks like a lady. And and they were like, oh, really? And they were like, yeah. I'm like, see myself as a female. I mean, yeah, I transitioned, but I'm a woman, you know, and that's how I see myself. And I'm like, yeah, that's how I kind of see you as now, you know. I'm like, cool, you know. Anyways, everyone, I will see you possibly next time you do a topic or something. All right, take care, everyone. Bye. If you have any questions, post it.